Alright, let's look at homework 8.4 on Thinkcentral. If you need any help, just review this video for the proper steps, or go step by step, or view the example on Thinkcentral. We're working with customary measurement and how to convert length. So first you need to be familiar with the units of measurement, how they convert. 1 foot is 12 inches, a yard is 3 feet, a yard then would be 36 inches, and a mile is 5,280 feet. So if you want to find out how many yards are in a foot, just divide this number by 3, and it's 1760. So that's an important number to remember as well. Remember, large to small you're going to multiply, and going from a smaller unit to a larger unit you're going to divide. First problem, you're asked to change 96 inches into how many feet. Inches are smaller than a foot, so you're going from small to large. You're going to divide. You're going to divide by the conversion factor, which is 12. So 96 divided by 12 would equal 8 feet. Alright, second problem, you're changing feet into inches, so you're going from a larger unit to a smaller unit. You need to multiply. How many inches are in a foot? If you look at the chart, you'll see that there's 12. So you multiply 19 times 12, and you can do that any method you want, but the answer should be 238 inches. On problems like this, when they give you the measurement to begin with, I always rewrite it. I write it this way so I know that I'm going from a yard into a foot. So I'm going from a large to a small, so I'm again going to multiply. How many feet are in 1 yard? 3. So you multiply 6 times 3 to get 18 feet. Next problem, again, you're seeing a conversion between miles and yards. You know a mile is much larger than a yard, so you're going from a large unit to a smaller unit, so you need to multiply because there are more smaller units than one large unit. So what is the conversion factor between miles and yards? Go ahead and check your chart. You see that there are 1,760 yards in 1 mile. So you put in 1,760, you multiply that by 2 to get 3,520 yards. It should be in 2 miles. Next problem, you're going from inches to yards, so you're going from a smaller unit to a larger unit, so you're going to have to divide. There are 36 inches in 1 yard, so you divide 360 by 36. That's an easy because it's just a decimal shift, and you end up with 10. So there are 10 yards in, or 360 inches is the same as 10 yards. For number 6, the interesting thing about that, they're asking for perimeter. So remember what is a perimeter. Perimeter is the distance all the way around. You're measuring the linear distance around an object, a 2D shape. So I measure the linear distance, which is going to give me 5 and 4, and I'm going to add that to this, but you see that's inches, not feet. So you need to change 24 inches into feet, and you're going from a smaller unit to a larger unit, you're going to divide. So 24 divided by 12 is 2, because there are 12 inches in a foot. So 24 inches is the same as 2 feet. So you add up 5 and 4 and 2 to get 11 feet as your answer. Problem number 7 is a multi-step problem. He needs 63 yards of wire, but each wire is only sold in spools of 6 feet. So first step is you're going to need to convert your feet into yards. So you're going from a smaller unit to a larger unit, so that means you're going to divide. So dividing 6 feet by 3 gives you 2 yards. So each spool is 2 yards. The question is, how many spools are there in 63 yards? Pretty simple on that. You divide 63 by 2 and you end up getting 31 with a remainder of 1. Remember that he needs to have at least 63 yards, so this remainder means that you're going to have to round up. You're going to have to add another spool. So he should need 32 spools in order to have at least 63 yards. Problem 8 is also a multi-step problem, so they're giving you different measurements. They're giving you miles, they're giving you yards, and they're giving you half as many as J. So you have to do a part, whole model to figure that out. What you're looking for is you need to convert all these into yards because they're asking you how many yards they did altogether. So I plug in my numbers into my part whole model. I have 1.5, 100, and then half of 1.5. 1.5 miles, so I'm going to go from miles to yards. I remembered that there are 1,760 yards in a mile, so I'm going to multiply 1.5 by 1,760. So to do that, I have an improper fraction. I change 1.5 to improper fraction, and then I cross cancel or cross simplify, because this is divisible by 2 and this is also divisible by 2. So dividing both of those by 2, I end up with 880 as a numerator and 1s as a denominator. So now I'm just going to multiply 880 times 3 to give 2,640 yards, would be equivalent to 1.5 miles. Now that's shows my equivalent chart, and now I plug it. Now I need half of 2,640 for the other person, so that gives me 1,320. So I have 1,320, which is half of J's, which is here, and then I have 100 yards here. So if I add all these together, I end up with 4,060 yards. And the final problem on the homework, problem number 9, it's a little football problem, so I'm sure that Jacob and Andrew are going to love this one, and Anton. Anyways, you have 23 feet, 12 feet, and 90 yards. So she gets the ball, she runs 23 feet, then she passes it 12 feet, and then the person runs 90 yards. So the question is, how many total feet did she do altogether? So I need to change these all into feet. You see that this is yards, not feet. So I have 23, 12, and 90 yards. So I need to change 90 yards into feet. I'm going from yards to feet, which is a large to a small, which means I'm going to multiply. I'm going to multiply. There are 3 feet in every yard, so I'm going to multiply 90 times 3 to get 270 feet. So plugging that back into my part whole model, I end up with 23 feet, 12 feet, and 270 feet, which gives me a total of 305 feet. Let us know if you have any questions. These problems can be hard, and you have to just kind of unpack it, go step by step. Hope you guys are doing well.